Members of the board. Toth,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Masterson.
Here.
Members of the administration. Council Liaison Abens is absent. Chief Building Official Fursden.
Here.
Planning and Development Director Lieber.
Here.
Law Director Moriarty.
Here.
Okay. Has everybody taken a look at the meeting minutes from last meeting? Does anybody have any comments, concerns, questions? I make a motion to accept as submitted.
Second.
Would the clerk please take roll?
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Mr. Toth, do you have a planning commission report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The North Ridgeville Planning Commission took action on 2 items at their regularly scheduled meeting on March 10th, 2026. Under new business, PPZ 2026-0405, North Ridge Point Subdivision, Phase 9 Final Plat, PPN 07-000-030-000-179. Applicant North Ridge Point Limited, Gary Smitek, Managing Member, 36715 Avalon Court, Avon, Ohio 44011. Proposal consists of final plat approval of Phase 9, consisting of 16 cluster lots for North Ridge Point subdivision. Property is zoned R1 Residence District, Chapter 1282. PC action, approved by a vote of 5-0 with following conditions. 1, the city engineer shall determine the easements needed around the stormwater retention basin. 2, the homeowner maintenance requirements of the proposed 20-foot drainage easement located in the block along the rear property lines of cluster lots shall be explicitly included on the plat. 3, the developer shall be required to submit a landscape plan for administrative approval for landscaping around the retention basin and any additional trees not shown in the submitted final plat materials. 4, a performance bond shall be issued in an amount determined by the city engineer for any unfinished work. 5, cluster sublots 307, 312, and 322 shall be allowed a 7.5-foot side yard setback to open space. The second item was PPZ 2026-0413, Victory Park Turf Baseball Field, 7777 Victory Lane, PPN 07-00-003-102-107, applicant PMJ Holdings, 777 Victory Lane, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Proposal consists of converting one existing baseball field, field number 7, to an artificial turf baseball field with turf bullpens and a batting cage. Property is zoned I-2 Light Industrial District. PC action, approved by a vote of 5-0. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for April 14th, 2026 at 7 p.m. here in Council Chambers. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there other reports or correspondence?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just wanted to announce that we're in the process of moving to online services and permitting in the Planning and Development Department. And at full build out, this means we'll be offering online permitting for contractors, developers, and residents to submit for permits and to pull permits to pay fees online. We do have contractor registration online, code enforcement, so people can lodge complaints and we can track progress of enforcement action, and then also planning and zoning. So our first of the modules rolled out in December, which was contractor registration, and the second one, planning and zoning, rolled out just a couple of weeks ago. So what this means for you is that your packets will look a little bit different because you'll start seeing cover sheets that come from our new software system, which is GovWell, versus the types of cover sheets that you've seen in the past. So and the coding system is a little bit different too. It's going to be an improvement for efficiency and also will allow applicants to track their permits online, to follow it through the different stages of approval, hopefully streamline the process, make things a little bit quicker and easier. So wanted to loop you in. It probably won't affect this board all too much, but wanted to make you aware that we are implementing these process improvements.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck with everything. All right, and then, before we go to the public hearings, I was just, going to ask the law director if you could explain to the audience tonight and the board members what voting means tonight when we have 3 members.
We would need a unanimous vote for anything to pass. Anything less than unanimous would be denied.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, will you go read the public hearings?
PPZ 2026-0411, Henry and Jan Bonas, 8344 Chesapeake Drive, PPN 07-00-011-0102-050. Proposal consists of a shed. Property is zoned R1 Residential District, Chapter 1282. Request, an approximate 4-foot 4-inch variance for setback of an outbuilding to other buildings on the same lot. Code requires 10 feet, applicant shows 5 feet 8 inches, section 1294.03E1.
Okay, you both are here to speak on behalf of this?
Yes.
So what I need you to both, if you're both gonna talk, I need you to both state your name and your address for the record, and then I'll swear you in. Do
Okay,
you wanna go first?
sure. I'm Jan Bonas, 8344 Chesapeake Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Okay, and sir?
Henry Bonas, 8344 Chesapeake Drive.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before this zoning and building board of appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna have the administration explain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant is seeking a variance for the placement of their shed. A permit for the shed was originally submitted in May 2024 and was approved. However, the owner had canceled that permit in June of 2024, indicating that they were no longer going to install the shed. But this January, the city zoning inspector confirmed that a shed had been installed in the backyard and then contacted the owner regarding that issue, the work without a permit. And during that process, the review of the plot plan showed that the shed does not comply with the code requirement for separation between structures. So, as you know, sheds have to be located at least 10 feet away from the dwelling or any other buildings on the property. So, in its current location, the shed is now 5 feet from the rear property line. That's the minimum required. The drawing submitted shows the distance reduced by 4 inches. I think that was an attempt to accommodate the 10-foot setback between the shed and the dwelling, but shifting the shed in that manner would not be recommended because then it creates a second variance. So as it stands today, one variance would be required for setback between structures. And so that setback, it's not just to the dwelling, but it's to anything that would be built onto the dwelling. So like the deck, that is the measurement that we would use, not just the measurement to the house. So I think there was maybe a misunderstanding that it just had to be 10 feet from the house itself. But there's a single variance, and it's an approximate 4-foot 4-inch variance between the shed and the dwelling. Thank you.
Mr. Furston, did you want to add anything? Okay. Would you like to explain your application to us?
So there's,
It's not actually a dwelling, it's the deck.
Well, I'm sorry, the shed. I
The shed,
apologize.
it's 5 foot 8 from a deck, not a dwelling, not a building.
not, yeah.
Okay, so why did you build the shed without a permit?
No, we shouldn't have. I didn't think that would be a problem away from the deck. But I
Because
could
it
take the
wasn't the
deck down
house.
if that's what it requires.
Okay. So I'm not a fan of building it and then finding out the rules exist. So what we're looking at is what the practical difficulties are in regards to this. So you built it, were you the owner that pulled the original permit and declined it?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so you knew you needed a permit.
Right.
yes.
Okay.
And then we looked around the neighborhood and seen that there was other sheds back there. And there's no way that they can be within the legalities.
Ms. Lieber, when this was determined by the building department that this was a problem, have they gone to the other neighbors, or was there a complaint on this property, or?
I'm not sure how the zoning inspector noted this, but we don't typically go up and down every street, like looking or comparing permit applications to
Okay.
things that we see.
So our yard butts up against, there's not, I mean, all there is some shrubs back there, and then it goes into Dan Barry's, where they have their senior living houses at. There's literally nothing back there. There's no room in our yard to do anything anyhow, so I don't see what the problem is. You know, like, we don't walk around back there. There's no room to even do anything. We walk off of our deck, walk through there, and we play cornhole in the backyard there along the fence. And that's it, and we walk back in and we put the cornhole boards in that shed. That's all, there's no room to do anything in those backyards. Because when we built our house, we extended the length of it. So, I mean, there's no room back there to do anything else. And so if the shed wasn't there, it's not like people are walking around back there.
I understand.
And like I said, we can take the deck down to the ground if it has to be.
Through the chair, I have a question. The fence that's built there I see there's a 12-foot storm sewer easement, so is the fence, where does the fence lay between that 12-foot storm sewer easement? Is the storm sewer easement on the outside of that fence, or is
It's inside.
what's encroaching in on the easement, if anything?
Or is it? I don't,
It's on the outside.
oh, is it on the outside?
I believe so.
Yes, because actually the storm sewer, you can see it there. It's on
In
the
the corners.
outside.
Mr. Furston, if the deck were not there, would they still need the variance?
Possibly not. I don't know the exact dimension from that to the dwelling, to be honest.
It's on that next piece of paper.
How much of the deck would you have to take off?
We would have to take the whole thing down.
I need the storage more than I need the deck.
Mr. Toad?
Yes, through the chair. Sir, what is the actual size of this shed?
I believe it's 8 by 8.
8 by 8?
Yes.
And how deep is your backyard?
18 feet. Is it down there?
I don't know if this, is that 15?
It's not a big backyard. That's
I
Right.
think this is the plot from the
in the city. Yeah.
city. What does that say, 15? 15 feet?
Yeah, we have a copy of that.
Yeah, but it looks like it might say 15?
No, it'd have to be more than that. That's what, 25 feet from the street.
20 feet?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So in reviewing the Duncan factors, can the property yield a reasonable return without the variance? And of course, it can. Is the variance substantial? The deviation is modest but notable, given the limited lot size. Will the essential character of the neighborhood be altered?
There's no streets behind us.
Yeah, so setbacks to property lines are met and shed meets size requirements, so no neighbors are directly affected.
Right.
Will the variance adversely affect delivery of governmental services? No. Did you purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restrictions? The owner likely knew of the separation requirement as indicated by the prior permit. Can the property owner's predicament be precluded through some other method other than the variance? It is unclear whether a shed of this size could be placed in the rear while maintaining both the required separation from other structures and property line setbacks. Would the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance? The shed's location does not impact neighboring properties as setbacks to property lines are met. The primary harm is to the owner themselves. While separation requirement exists to maintain orderly development in this cluster subdivision with small, tightly spaced lots, the variance would allow the owner to use the property as intended without affecting others. Do you guys have any other things that you wanna? Is there anybody in the audience that has comments, questions, or concerns and wants to speak on behalf of this matter? Does the administration have anything else they'd like to add?
I have a question. What's the distance from the fence to the shed
5 foot,
on both sides?
yes. Yeah, the only obstruction is the deck.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to, I'm also not a fan of the asking for forgiveness rather than permission aspect of things. However, I think in this limited lot size, as we noted in the Duncan factors here, the primary harm is to the property owner themselves, not their neighbors, not governmental services, and it does not affect the neighborhood. I therefore make a motion to approve this variance.
A second?
Will clerk please take roll?
Toth,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, you guys have a nice evening.
All right,
You
thank
don't
you.
have to stay if you don't want to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the next application?
PPZ 2026-0412 Brad Snyder, 36863 Mills Road, PPN 07-00-031-000-351. Proposal consists of constructing a new dwelling. Property is zoned R1 Residence District. Requests: 1, a 13.59-foot variance for front yard depth. Code requires 50 feet. Applicant shows 36.41 feet. Section 1250.04 B1. 2, a 4.9-foot variance for rear yard depth. Code requires 50 feet. Applicant shows 45.09 feet. Section 1250.04 B2.
Okay, is there anybody to speak on behalf of this application? I need you to come to the podium and state your name and address, and then I'll swear you in. Hi,
Good evening.
good evening.
Brad Snyder, 3334 Crown Colony Drive.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before this Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Sure.
Okay. Ms. Lieber?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This application was tabled at your last meeting, and the applicant has made some changes to the plan. You'll recall that this lot is at the intersection of Mills and Stony Ridge at the recently completed Peanut Roundabout. The proposed dwelling is oriented to face Mills Road with a rear attached garage. The applicant has revised the plan by shifting the dwelling to the north, which has increased the rear setback, but in the process caused a corner of the front porch to encroach into the required front setback. As proposed, the dwelling would be 36.41 feet from the right-of-way and 45.09 feet from the rear property line. So therefore, variances are required for both the front and the rear setback. But previously, you'll recall there was a single variance for rear yard setback, but the dwelling was much closer to the rear property line. I think, the size of the garage is not a code issue. It's just notable that it's significantly larger than typical. And I just wanted to point out, just for the applicant's knowledge, that no commercial use or home occupation could be conducted in the garage without compliance with applicable zoning and home occupation regulations.
Okay, and then just to clarify, again, all we're dealing with is the zoning issue.
Correct.
We cannot address the engineering issues. That is not what we're here for, okay? All right, so would you like to speak on behalf of your application now, sir?
No, this was Mr. Tolt's idea. I thought it was a pretty good idea to move it closer to Mills, so I mean, there's really minimal variances on the north and south side other than the deck. Without the porch, there's 0 on the northwest side. So that's all open space. It's not the house that's encroaching on that line, it's the patio. So 13 might sound like a lot, but it's the patio.
Okay, so do you understand one of the reasons for the Board of Zoning and Appeals is when you have something that doesn't quite meet building codes? That's one of the reasons why we're here. It's a very unique piece of property. You are aware, and we're not addressing the engineering issues, but if we approve your variance requests, you're going to have to meet all rules and requirements of the engineering department.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, the house is to code as
Okay.
it sits.
It just doesn't show how the entrance to the garage is. So that's just my area of, I just don't, and you don't need to do that, so I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Okay, does any of the administration have any comments, questions, or concerns? Any board members? Mr. Toth? Okay, so review of the Duncan factors. Can the property yield a reasonable return, or can there be any beneficial use of the property without the variance? The property could still yield a reasonable return with a code-compliant dwelling. Is the variance substantial? The dwelling encroaches roughly 14 feet into the front setback and 5 feet into the rear setback. While the neighbors expressed concern about the previous rear setback, the proposed rear encroachment is minor. Will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or will adjoining properties suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance? The dwelling is consistent in scale and use with the surrounding homes. Granting the variance is not expected to materially alter neighborhood character or create substantial detriment to adjacent properties. Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services? No. Did the property owner purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restrictions? Yes, the setback requirements for new dwellings predated the creation of the lot. Can the owner's predicament be precluded through some method other than a variance? Alternate design options exist, such as constructing a detached garage, which has reduced setback requirements. However, that option would bring significantly significantly sized accessory structure much closer to the neighboring property line than proposed. Would the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance? Setback rules aim to promote safety, compatibility, and orderly development, given the lot's roundabout frontage, one-way traffic flow, and overall residential context. Granting the variances allow reasonable use of the lot while aligning with the intent of the code. All right, is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak on behalf of this matter? Okay, I'm gonna need you to come up to the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Frank Krupka. I reside at 36789 Mills Road.
Okay, all right. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the law, the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I guess my only concern is from a safety standpoint. As we encroach into that corner, has there been appropriate evaluation of the line of sight looking down that roundabout? I drive that roundabout every day, so people are still learning how to drive it. So I'm a little bit worried about a safety concern as far as we encroach into that corner, as far as line of sight. So I'd like to know if you guys have looked into the safety considerations of this.
Are you asking from an engineering standpoint, impacting?
Whatever would be appropriate for your board to have done to make sure that as we give this variance, that we're taking into consideration safety.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Hi, can you state your name and address for the board?
Nicole Rambo Ackerman, 4925 Stony Ridge Road.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't see anywhere in the submittals, either from last time or this time, still any response to what the justification is for requesting the variances. There's no hardship that he's explained. And it's very clear that you don't need a porch to live, so he admitted it's only the porch in that front corner section. So I don't think he's truly, while he's shifted it, yes, he is making a effort to make amends, I guess, but he still doesn't seem to have looked at the full scope of the project and tried to actually make changes that would be more in compliance with the code requirements. So that is my, and I still repeat all the other concerns I had at the last meeting, but I will save you guys, so thank you.
Have a nice, anybody else want to speak on behalf of this matter?
Hi, good evening.
Your name and address?
Yes, Rhiannon Golay, 36845 Mills Road.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before this Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do, yes. And honestly, I just have one point of clarification that I would just like to make sure of, that it looks like there's a discrepancy as to the two variances in the paperwork, like from the letter that I received compared to the application. And I believe that what is stated here is correct, but I just want to make sure. So,
Ms. Lieber, did you want to address that?
yeah, so I understand the rear lot would be, it's only like essentially a 5-foot variance, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, because in the public hearing notice, it stated 31.36 feet.
Typo.
Okay, just want to make sure it's on the record, so that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does the members of the administration have anything they'd like to add to this? Any comments, concerns, or questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I think this is a great example of how this board was designed to function, where we had a property owner approach us who was looking to build a certain project on this piece of property, where in the initial stages, he was looking for a far larger variance where he was encroaching onto a neighboring property. Here he is essentially encroaching minimally into the right-of-way and also minimally towards his neighbor's property. I think this is a demonstration of how this board is designed to function, And I thank the applicant for looking this over, and I appreciate all of the public input on this. And with that, I would make a motion to approve this project as presented.
Second.
Will the clerk please call roll?
Toth,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Will the clerk please call the next application?
PPZ 2026-0417 Mimosa Hajdari, Chestnut Ridge Road, PPN 07-00-004-108-018. Applicant H. David Lorelli, Basil Hajdari, 15333 Shorel Road, Sterling, Ohio, 44276. Proposal consists of a lot split. Property is zoned R1 Residence District. Request a 35.59-foot variance for minimum lot depth of the western proposed lot. Code requires 150 feet. Applicant shows 114.41 feet. Section 1250.04A2.
Okay, can
Hi.
you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Mehdi Haidari. I presented my sister. She was not able to come tonight. She's
Okay,
very busy in her business, so, but I'm familiar with the
Sir,
situation.
I need your name and your address so that I can swear you in.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Mehdi Haidari, 65 Trunco Road, Fairlawn, Ohio, 44333.
all right. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Lieber?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant's proposing to split a single vacant R1 zone parcel into 3 lots. The property has access to public water and sanitary sewer along Chestnut Ridge Road. The exhibit depicts the property boundaries as they are today, extending to the center line of Chestnut Ridge. I wanted to point out for the purpose of zoning compliance that lot width, depth, and area are all measured to the right-of-way line. As proposed, all 3 lots meet the minimum lot frontage and area requirements. The eastern 2 lots also meet the required minimum lot depth. However, the western lot does not meet the minimum lot depth requirement. It starts to narrow, it kind of is somewhat of a pie-shaped lot. Lot depth is defined as the average distance between the front and rear lot lines. Based upon the lot configuration, the average depth of the western lot is about 114.41 feet. And I provided a calculation in the staff report. But the result of that is a 35.59-foot variance for minimum lot depth. It's, again, an average number. It's not the whole lot. It's average. Thank you.
All right, sir. Now you can give us a little bit of an explanation of your application.
But my sister bought this lot with the intention of splitting because she want to build herself a house there and for her daughter. But now the second lot or the third one is not attached to the thing, doesn't have enough feet to reach, so that's what she's trying to kind of put the application for, see if she'll be able to.
Okay, so, in review of the Duncan factors, so your sister purchased the property
Yes,
with knowing, so she just recently,
yes,
she purchased the property.
yes.
So can the property yield a reasonable return, or can there be any beneficial use of the property without the variance? The existing lot is buildable and can support a single-family dwelling. Is the variance substantial? The proposed lot depth of 35.59 feet is a measurable deviation from the 150-foot minimum required by code. While the variance is not negligible, the western lot is of sufficient size and shape to accommodate a typical single-family dwelling on the deeper eastern portion of the lot while maintaining all required setbacks. Therefore, the variance does not prevent reasonable use and development of the lot. Will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or will adjoining properties suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance? No substantial alteration or detriment is anticipated. The lot can accommodate a standard home consistent with the neighborhood character. Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services? No. Did the property owner purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restrictions? These regulations were in place when the property was purchased in 2025. Can the property owner's predicament be precluded through some method other than a variance? Based on current zoning regulations, the property could not be split in any manner that would result in 2 or more code-compliant lots. Would the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirements be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance? A concern would be whether the substantial lot could accommodate, the substandard lot could accommodate a house that meets all required setbacks. If a house was sited along the eastern portion of the lot near the minimum side setbacks, the lot could accommodate a typical single-family dwelling with depth of 40 to 50 feet while maintaining the minimum 50-foot front and rear setbacks. Consequently, the lot depth deficiency does not prevent a standard house from being constructed without additional variances. We need like a hardship, and I guess.
The only thing she was not understanding, we were just talking about it even the other day, because they said it's like 50 feet from the street. Now they require another 30. That's what it's cutting the lot, and we don't understand what the other 30 feet is for.
As Ms. Lieber explained, when they're doing their measurements, they're doing it from the right of way.
Okay.
Right. Does the administration have any questions, comments, concerns?
I guess just to reiterate, my most significant concern was that a variance granted for lot size might generate future variance requests for a setback of a dwelling, but I think that, having looked at the property, I think a house could be built that would meet all the required setbacks. I guess if I were a BZA member, I'd be less likely to grant variances in the future for any building setback if the applicant requested this lot with this more shallow depth than code would require. Thank you.
I do have to agree with Ms. Lieber. My biggest concern would be we're just opening ourselves up for more variances down the road. Do any of our board members have any comments, concerns, questions?
Yes, through the chair.
Mr. Toth, please.
Mr. Ferdson, could I, just for the record here, have the required setbacks for an R1 lot?
Required setbacks for R1 lot would be 50-foot front yard, 50-foot rear yard, and a 10-foot side yard on each side yard.
Thank you very much. Now, in the Duncan factors here, as we were looking on this, one of the factors was, can the property owner's predicament be precluded through some method other than a variance? The answer to that was, based on current zoning regulations, the property could not be split in any manner that would result in 2 or more code-compliant lots. Does that hold true?
I don't know, I don't remember doing any calculations to, if just one lot was to be split off. It may be less than what's required. That would be 170 and 60, that would be 230. No, even if you tried to split one lot off, you'd need a variance. It'd be less than 150.
But he could, working from the east lot line, break that into 2 lots, correct?
No. When you split that first lot off, that would still need a variance. It's less than 150-foot average. You got about,
The eastern lot?
yes.
Okay.
Because your one property line's measuring about 210 feet. And so it's actually about maybe 180 feet. But the southern property line is only going to be about 60 feet. And 60 and 180 is 240, half of that's 120.
Okay.
So it's less than the 150.
So not only can we not look at this lot as splitting it into thirds, we can't even consider, without a variance, splitting this lot in half. Okay. Thank you very much for that, sir.
Did you have anything you'd like to add?
I was looking at this thing, the map, but it says like it's 200, the third line from the surveyor is like 189 feet. And I don't see from 189 to 150 is the variance.
Mr.
Now the only discussion we're having is just for the third lot, not for the two. I even spoke with the surveyor. He said, I don't see any dispute there. He said, I don't have to be there to explain anything because it's a self-explanatory. So now we're all discussing for the third lot, not for the two. Because the third one, even I'm having the map for the surveyor with the third one, and it's showing all the measurements. And I don't see from 189 to 150, we're inside the,
Can I ask Mr. Ferguson to chime in?
sure.
Do you have something to add, sir, or?
No, we were just discussing, again, if you go to do that second lot split, you still need a variance. In fact, if they're trying to trade three, they still need a variance, but the first two lots would comply.
First two
It's the
lots
third
comply,
lot.
Yeah.
it's the third lot, okay, so,
The only discussion we're having is all for the third lot. The first two lots, there was no any discussion there, like for a feet wide. We were discussing for the third lot if it's available. That's why we're asking for the variance for the third lot.
so the properties, they can't do the property split without the variance.
Correct.
Thank you. Does that clear it up a little bit?
The property needs the variance to get the second
Third.
lot?
The third,
Second lot, they would need a variance or we couldn't approve the split.
Okay.
what we learned from the city, to split the lot, we have to come here, tell them, okay, we're splitting the lot, we have the surveyor, topo, everything done. We just need you guys to approve so we can split the lot. Now we learned the variance for the third lot, we're talking, I think it's like 28 feet difference for the third lot. The first two that already comply with every code. But for us to split the lot so we can have address for every one of them, we have to come here. That's what we learned.
Sir, I think maybe we're having a communication difference here, that your numbers have 30 additional feet in them because your surveyor measured from the center of the right-of-way. Whereas
took-
for zoning, it's from the closest line, the adjacent line of the right-of-way.
I understand. He already spoke with I think the person name is a guy, and he took the variance, the guy, I don't know who is that person.
That's
I don't know.
Mr. Guy Furston.
I'm sorry. So they took each other, and we took the 50 feet and the other 30. I don't know what the other, that's what we're not understanding, what was the other 30 feet for?
So I think Ms. Lieber keeps trying to, okay, Mr. Furston, sorry.
You're misunderstanding. Your surveyor did all the drawings to the center of the right-of-way. That's the way the property reads. But the city ordinance says no portion of the right-of-way can be accounted for your lot area, your lot depth, or even your lot width. So you have to deduct half of that right-of-way, which is 30 feet, from all the dimensions your surveyor put on the drawing. So if he's saying that that property line is, in this case, 189 feet, and actually it's 159 feet in our eyes, because he can't take account of that 30 feet that's in the right-of-way. So when you look at the 159 and that southern property line, that's the killer. It's showing that you've got 99 feet down there, but you take 30 off, it's actually 69 feet, which makes it very difficult, and that's why you're here for a variance, because it's such an unusual shaped lot.
Yes. Thank you. Nice meeting you. I heard about you, but I never got to meet you.
Okay, Mr. Toth, do you have any other comments, questions, or concerns?
No, ma'am, I think that addresses mine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody in the audience want to speak on behalf of this? Would you please come to the podium? Can you state your name and your address?
Nancy Linden, 31828 Chestnut Ridge Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Okay, I do need to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I live across the street from this area. The previous owner bought this property knowing it was undevelopable because it was too narrow. Unfortunately, the people who bought this land probably did not know that it was going to be difficult to build on. And really, that third property that he's trying to get will never be able to be developed because it is too narrow. I have the same property with my property. If you go and look at my land, the back land of my property is only 22 feet wide. And this, I don't want to ever see it developed. It was heartbreaking to watch them cut down all those trees that were there. There's a creek that runs through there in the back that's going to stop him from getting any land that works. And I really, 2 houses maybe could be built there, but no more than 2 could possibly fit in that area because the land gets so narrow towards the western side that you could never put anything more in there than maybe a little tiny park.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on behalf of this matter in the audience? Does the administration have anything they'd like to add? Okay, the board will entertain a motion. I make a motion to decline. So understand that if you vote yes, you're agreeing with declining it.
Second.
Will the clerk please take roll?
Toth,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Will the clerk please take the next application?
Variance 26-001, John Rutherford, 34120 Woodlawn Drive, PPN 07-00-016-105-001. Proposal consists of a detached garage. Property is zoned R1 Residence District. Requests a 2.65%, 578 square foot variance for lot coverage. Code allows 10% for lots over 1/2 acre. Applicant shows 12.65%. Section 1294.03 D2.
Okay. Can you please state your name and address for,
John Rutherford, 34120 Woodlawn Avenue.
okay. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make before the Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Lieber?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant's proposing to construct an addition to the existing dwelling and a detached garage on their R1 zone property located at 34120 Woodlawn Drive. The property contains 21,780.4 square feet, or just over 1/2 acre. There's a lot of decimal points to get to that, just over 1/2 acre. For lots greater than 1/2 acre, the zoning code does not regulate the number of outbuildings. However, total lot coverage may not exceed 10%. Building his historically interpreted lot coverage is including all buildings and roof structures on the property, excluding uncovered decks, patios, and other similar improvements. The proposed addition, the covered porch, and the detached garage would contribute 1,610 square feet of additional lot coverage. The proposed open deck is not included in that calculation. According to the Lorraine County Auditor, the existing dwelling contains 1,146 square feet, including the covered porch. The total proposed lot coverage would be 2,756 square feet, where 2,178 square feet is permitted. So this represents 578 square feet of additional lot coverage, which is 12.65%, where 10% is permitted. That's a lot of numbers. Thank you.
Okay. And then, Mr. Fursden, did you have anything to add? I see we have a letter from you. That was given to the, Mr. Rutherford. So it was just clarifying your response to, the request of the zoning requirements. So nothing more than, correct? Right. Mr. Rutherford, would you like to explain to us what your application's about?
So I submitted drawings, site plan, everything like that. Read the ordinance as much as I could. Read it over as many times as I could. I'm pretty familiar with zoning and building codes. This one, I'm not able to really understand the interpretation of it because the handout that the city gives out to everybody says total lot coverage, but then when I read the ordinance, it says lot coverage. There's no explanation. I understand that they're saying that decks uncovered are not part of lot coverage, but lot coverage to me is anything that's on the lot would be lot coverage. So they're not including the uncovered porch, but they're also including my accessory structure. I mean, my main structure, the primary structure. My primary structure, if I wanted to and comply with zoning, I could build about 47% of my lot and have about a 10,000 square foot ranch on that property. So because of where the house sits on my property and my garage, I'm not really able to attach it and have enough room to finagle in. You know, I do have a daughter who's 19 years old, kids that are going to be driving. I don't want them trying to finagle around to pull into the backyard to attach to the garage. So that's why I have the garage where it's at. I'm within all setbacks, but the problem that I'm running into is the detached garage. I don't understand how detached garages is being applied to my main structure when I can build, you know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you guys can explain how lot coverage and total lot coverage is calculated in the city of North Ridgeville, as I worked in the city of North Olmsted, and I'm almost positive concrete patios were even part of lot coverage. So here, they're not part of lot coverage, but even a detached deck having footers is a structure, but that's not calculated. So there's just a lot of confusion that I'm not familiar with of how it's interpreted. Mr. Guy says it's been interpreted that way for 20 years. I also had an issue with the same house. I did an addition on top of the house, and with trusses, building inspectors were interpreting it one way. I had to take it to the guy asked me to take it to the state of Ohio. We got clarification. And I'm not sure if you remember exactly, Guy, but there was a summary guide that the inspectors were going off of. Well, that summary guide was a summary if you had those criteria, but the inspector wanted me to do all those key items. Long story short, so interpretation to me, sometimes, how is it being interpreted? And that's kind of why, do I even need a variance for this? Because if you look at the accessory structure page, it says under detached garages, lot coverage no more than 10%. Well, my accessory structure garage does not go over 10%, but it does go over 10% when you include my house, which is a primary structure. But again, I can build my primary structure 50 feet from the back and I think 60 from the front, 10 feet from each side. I can fill that whole lot full with house. So the interpretation to me is just not making sense. So I don't even know if I need a variance, but I'm just following the order and I'm here to see what you guys can figure out. And if anybody can give me some explanation on this moving forward, would be great.
Mr. Fursden, can he build a 10,000 square foot house on this property without a variance?
If you met all the setbacks, yes. We don't regulate the size of the dwelling. But council chose to regulate the size of outbuildings by lot coverage. And that's how we interpret lot coverage. We're not including the driveway or a concrete patio. That's why we didn't include the open deck.
Thank you,
But
sir.
it was any structure with a roof on it. That's how we were told to enforce the ordinance by council.
Madam Chair,
Hold
just
on.
a procedural matter. So applicants can either appeal file an administrative appeal of a determination of a city official, or they can request relief from the code, a variance. So we received a variance application. So I just want the board to focus on a variance is being requested, but it seems so far the presentation has been geared towards appealing and interpretation. So I think we need to sort out whether or not an appeal is being made, which we did not prepare for as staff, or a variance is being requested.
That was going to be my next question for the law director. So would you like to clarify why you're here?
I'm here because I submitted for a variance as what I was required to do by Guy.
No, I just,
Oh.
you're
Yep,
either.
I'm here for a variance. You asked me why. I explained to you why I'm here, right? I didn't know, me and Guy went back and forth. Unfortunately, I did send an email out to multiple people. I didn't know there was another process that I could have taken. If Kim would have replied back to my email and advised me of that, it would have been great, because I had about 9 people in the email. Thank you, Guy, for taking the time to respond back to me, but he was the only one that responded back to me and advised me how interpretation was. So Guy advised the only thing that we can do, because he can't allow it because of how it's been interpreted and how he's interpreted for the last 20 years, and he can't change it.
Once again,
So
we're
great.
either.
Yes,
Okay,
variance.
I understand, and the reason why nobody other responded was because Mr. Ferguson responded. So, okay, so we're addressing the variance.
Yep.
We're not addressing the
Nothing.
interpretation. Okay. So what is your hardship? Without questioning it.
Lot coverage.
Because, so we're looking from Duncan factors. I
Right.
understand you worked in a different city and they had different rules and regulations. Each city does have that. I'm sorry, would you like us to take a minute so you can address what?
No, I was going to just pull up the letter that I submitted to you with all the Duncan factors.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, based on our review of the Duncan factors, can the property yield a reasonable return, or can there be any beneficial use of the property without the variance? Yes, the property can continue to be used as a single-family dwelling in compliance with zoning regulations without the requested variance. Is the variance substantial? The requested variance represents 578 square feet, or 2.65% beyond the permitted 10% lot coverage. Will the essential character of the neighborhood be substantially altered, or will adjoining properties suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the variance? The proposed detached garage meets the required setbacks from property lines, or otherwise complies with zoning requirements. Based on the submitted plans, the proposal is not expected to substantially alter the character of the neighborhood. Will the variance adversely affect the delivery of governmental services? No. Did the property owner purchase the property with knowledge of the zoning restrictions? The regulations governing detached garages and accessory structures have been in place and interpreted in this manner for many years. Can the property owner's predicament be precluded through some method other than the variance? The requested variance could potentially be avoided through a reduction in the size of the proposed garage or other roof structures. Would the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement be observed and substantial justice done by granting the variance? The lot coverage limitation is intended to prevent excessive building coverage on residential lots. While the proposal would exceed the permitted coverage, variance requested is relatively modest, and the structures would otherwise comply with the applicable zoning requirements. My opinion is that it is a very minor request. Does the administration have anything else they'd like to add? Does the board have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Madam Chair, once again, I'd like to ask Mr. Ferguson here, is this project Disregarding the variance request, does this meet all other code as far as setback? It says setback here, but also distance from decks. Do we have all our 10 feet? We have all our clearance? We're off our lot lines? We're set back far enough? Everything's good?
I believe we do, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, sir.
Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak on behalf of this matter?
Nobody's speaking. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Taking into consideration this project is code compliant without, or with the exception of the lot coverage variance of 578 feet, which was described as modest. However, a 20 by 24 typical two-car garage is 480 square feet, so it's modest in relation, but it is a larger structure. But also, we received a letter of support from a neighbor here, I believe Samantha Reesner. Is that next door, across
Yeah,
the street?
they actually, right next door, they actually built a house there maybe a year or two ago.
Okay, so they abut your property
Yeah,
then?
they're right next door to our property.
So they're gonna be the people that you are closest to on the lot line with the
Correct.
structure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Madam Chair, based on the project being code compliant with the exception of the variance request for the lot coverage, I would make a recommendation to approve this as presented.
Second.
Will clerk please take roll?
Toth,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Masterson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Is there any other business before the board? I do adjourn this meeting.